All right. Well, NBA trade deadline is over. It ended at 4. So here we are. There are a couple of things that are going on today. Number one, we have a Super Bowl, of which I am not excited in the least about.
There's only one game that matters. Tottenham, Liverpool, Carabao Cup semifinals on right now. That's what matters.
Wait, Carabao Cup?
Carabao Cup. That's what the English. It's one of the big English tournaments.
Carabao coffee?
It is not a Carabao coffee. I don't know why they call it Carabao. It's a weird thing.
The Carabao Cup.
Yep. So I have Liverpool and Tottenham going on right now.
Well, I have a Tottenham jersey, so I guess I'm rooting for Tottenham. But
you are, but they're losing because Liverpool's a lot better.
Wait. So what? How did we get to where we are?
It's pretty much they have 2 tournaments. It's very weird that every English team I think plays in, and this is one of them. And they're in the semifinals is Liverpool, Tottenham. The winner plays Newcastle on Sunday or whenever they play. I know that's the big sporting event of the week.
Of the weekend.
Yeah, I have never seen a football game. So I've never seen a Super Bowl with less, and maybe it's just where we live. Nobody cares about it.
Oh, no, it's not just where you live. Nobody cares about it here either. Nobody.
It's funny. It should be a game that people are into. You have you have the first chance at a three-peat. Mm-hmm. You have the Saquon issue. You have Philly. I mean, trying to win their second in 5 years under a coach that nobody wants at this point. Or not in 5, making it twice they won in 18. So winning it twice in 10 years, third time in the Super Bowl in a decade. And no one cares. The only thing that's been discussed is Luka.
I gotta say the most exciting part of the entire week has been Jameis Winston doing his thing at the media event. I mean whoever hired him, I think it was Fox, to ask questions. I don't know if you've checked this out. He's been hysterical. He's been asking.
No, I haven't.
He's been asking questions of everybody. And he's gone to like A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and thrown them cookies and said, "Here, catch this. Let's see how good your hands are." He's been doing it forever. And he's like, look, he's been making fun of himself too. At one point he goes, look, if I get intercepted, that's nothing new. Like that's, but at the same time, poking fun at yourself. Yes, please. Like that sounds awesome. We have, I think, actually the 2 guys that may or may not be traded in the NFL have taken more news coverage than the actual Super Bowl. You have Myles Garrett, who has asked for a trade, and the Browns saying, no way in hell. I don't believe that at all. And then you have Cooper Kupp saying, I don't want to be traded, and the Rams going, yeah, right, we're trading you anyway. But look, that's for next week, right? That's not going to take – there's no way the NFL is doing a trade this week. It's not happening. So let's go through the game and what we expect. And, yes, it's a little bit of boredom because we've seen this before, right? 3 times in the last decade for Philly. Now, granted, 2 different coaches, obviously a different running back, a different quarterback. Like this is new. But still the same old team, right? And there's no Jason Kelce. So
Jalen Hurts was the quarterback 3 years ago when they went.
Sure,
2 years
yes,
ago.
I'm sorry. And then you look at the Chiefs, and maybe the Chiefs are it's the Chiefs. Like, again, why? Like, what analysis is there to do? It's Pat Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Chris Jones, right? Everybody else, and Andy Reid. And everybody else is interchangeable because really everybody else has been interchangeable. You have, instead of Ladarius Sneed, you have Trent McDuffie, right? Instead of, I was going to say Juju Smith-Schuster, but you have Juju Smith-Schuster who's back on the team.
Instead of Tyreek Hill, you have Xavier Worthy.
Sure. That's right. Instead of Isaac Pacheco, you pretty much have Kareem Hunt now. I mean, Pacheco's there, but Hunt's been the one carrying the ball. And I foresee that happening again. I think first of all, who do you think wins the game? Let's just go through that. Let's get our predictions on the record. Where are you going?
Oh, I've been off on Kansas City this whole playoff. So, sure, why not? 26-23.
Kansas City. I will not pick Kansas City. I will not. I will not. I cannot look. I am amazed because Pat Mahomes has done what Tom Brady has done, right? Which is basically win with less help than any other team because he really does have less help. And this year, he has ridden the back of the defense more than him playing offense. And Travis Kelce had a down year. Obviously, their wide receivers, truth be told, are kind of – would any of them start for most other playoff teams? Would any of them start for the Eagles? No.
No.
Right? I mean,
No.
I think only of all the offensive players on the Eagles, on the Chiefs, and take away Pat Mahomes, I think the only ones that would start are the left tackle because Tooney shouldn't be a left tackle. So Lane Johnson, who's the right tackle, right?
Wait, no, you're saying the only people who would start on Philly?
Sorry, Joe Tooney would start right on the Eagles, right?
Yes.
Kelce would start on the Eagles.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, Dallas Goedert's really good.
He's really good. And Pat Mahomes. And that's it on the offense. That is it. Those are three guys that would start. And maybe the center. Maybe. Because the center.
No, Creed. Really Creed Humphrey may start as well.
Yeah, Creed Humphrey's really good. It's the defense, which surprisingly is what's been the Chiefs' go-to this year. And your old friend, Steve Spagnuolo, who has done, again, a wondrous job that will not result in him getting a head coaching job.
Yeah, nor do I think he's ever going to get a serious opportunity to get one.
Again. No, I think that has passed him by. I think it's done. I would equate him very much to Pete Carroll in the first iteration of Pete Carroll, where Pete Carroll went to the Jets from Minnesota to the Jets, from the Jets to New England, right? And then fired by New England and then went to college and became the Pete Carroll that we know and love today, and then went to Seattle and then the Raiders. Spagnuolo is too old to go down that road at this point, but he reminds me very much of the Wade Phillips, right? Where it's you're really good on defense, but you don't have enough time to grow into a head coach. You just don't.
Well, the shame of it is he got one chance with the Rams, and that team was just a dumpster fire.
Wait, didn't he get a chance with the Saints too?
I don't think. Did he get a chance with was he an interim coach for the Saints? I don't remember that.
I think so. Anyway, go on.
We talk about coaches getting second chances here. Let's see here.
I'm looking at it right now. Head coach with the Rams, interim head coach with the Giants in 2017.
Yeah, that was for like 3 games.
That's what I meant. So he was the defensive coordinator for the Saints. I mean, you look at his history as a coach, he's got a lot.
Yeah. I mean, but some people are just made to be.
He's also 65 years old, Seth.
Well, that's why, as I said, he's never going to. If he was 10 years younger, he would get another shot. But, he's not going to, and he'll go down as one of the top defensive masterminds of his generation.
Yeah, him and Wade Phillips.
Why do you keep bringing up Wade Phillips?
Because he reminds me very much of Wade Phillips. Phillips.
Okay.
Steve Spagnuolo is the 2020s Wade Phillips from 2010s. He got a job real late. It didn't work. He was a great defensive coach. Remember, Wade Phillips, I believe, was the defensive coordinator on the Rams when the Rams won it, right?
Back in 1999?
With Stafford. No, with Stafford.
Oh, 3 years ago.
Hold on. I got it right here. Wade Phillips is 77, by the way. So I believe he was defensive coordinator.
He was a head coach twice and an interim head coach 3 times.
Yep. And he won with the Rams in 2018. He won with the Broncos with Mr. Manning in 2015. And before that, he was with the Bills. Oh no, he was defensive coordinator in 95 to 97. Wow. He was head coach with the Broncos in 93, 94. I forgot that. And this guy's been around forever. So
yeah.
Anyway, so you think it's the Chiefs by 3, I think you said? 3?
Yeah, why not? It's as good a number as any.
Okay, I'll take the Eagles 27-20. And I hope that Mahomes is stopped on a last-second drive at the 2-yard line, Mike Jones style, against Kevin Dyson.
Well, there's your Rams reference.
Hey, see? I can bring it out all the time.
That was the 1999 Super Bowl, I believe. Yeah. 99, 2000.
Yeah. Kevin Dyson and Mark that was Steve McNair's I'm not going to make it into the Hall of Fame. Because if Steve McNair wins that Super Bowl, he has an MVP and a Super Bowl to his name, and he is in the Hall of Fame. And right now, he is not. So, by the way, we also don't know who didn't vote for Ichiro yet. And
he's refusing to admit it.
And we probably never will.
Well, so, would you admit it?
No. No. That's basically Steve Bartman all over again. Like, why would I do that? No. Absolutely not. Look, I think we all just hope for a good game. And believe it or not, in the last 10 years, we've gotten more good games than not, right?
We got more good games than probably in the prior 50.
Right. 40. Right. Parity has definitely come to the NFL, if nothing else. The problem is for yours and my team, it never comes to us. It comes to everybody else. And now we have Myles Garrett looking for a trade, Cooper Kupp looking for a trade. I don't think either one of them lines up with either the Jets or Giants next year.
No, the Giants, there's no reason to. I mean, what are you going to give up if you're the Giants? You're not giving up the number 3 pick.
You're not getting Garrett. I mean, I think Garrett is just going to cost too much for anybody. I think they're going to want 2 number 1s and blah and more, right? Cooper Kupp, I think, depending on how the renegotiation is, and he's owed $29 million next year, which means there's definitely going to be a renegotiation of that contract somehow. I think you're looking at a 4th-round pick.
You saw the Athletic article on it?
I did. I didn't quite understand it because the gauge was all over the place, right? None of them were actually, consistent. So I was like, if one team's giving up a 3rd, how can you say that a 4th and a 5th is worth a 3rd? Like that, it was all.
I guess it's contingent on how much salary is being covered. But I don't see it. I don't. I mean, look, he was fantastic a couple of years ago, but he's been hurt. He's been hurt ever since.
Correct.
So where exactly does that leave you? Excuse me.
Oh, hold on. Latest is that the Nets are looking on a buyout for Ben Simmons.
Oh.
And he may go to the Cavs or the Clippers. Okay, so let's migrate over to the NBA trade deadline, which is
because to be honest, it's the first time that I can remember in the 13 years we've hosted the show that there's a bunch of other sporting events that really overtake this.
Like what? Overtake the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Yeah, you mean like the four nations hockey, which is amazing. That will start in 2 weeks.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
So you don't know what Four Nations hockey is?
Well, did they stop the NHL or is it all amateur?
No, stopping the NHL.
Oh,
so
cool.
There are 4 teams: Sweden, Canada, the United States, and Finland. And it's basically a mini Olympics for 2 weeks.
So round robin, and then the winners play in the championship?
instead of the All-Star game, they're playing this, which basically is like the World Cup of hockey with no Russia. So, which takes out a little bit, right? Because Russia has a good amount of players, especially goalies. And we could talk about this more next week, as it is generally the week after. But I am a little surprised you had not heard of Four Nations hockey. But
I think I've heard of it. It just hasn't really been hasn't been a.
Yeah, tickets to the finals are about $1,000 right now.
Where are the finals?
So they have it in Boston. So I don't know I know that games are being played in Boston Garden, the Molson Center, and in Toronto. And I don't know where the finals are of Four Nations. Hold on. Four Nations finals tickets are it. So Boston Garden. The finals, it looks like Montreal, Quebec at the Bell Center. Saturday, February 15th. Oh, no, we got the 20th. Oh, the championships at Boston Garden. Sorry. And tickets for that right now, Thursday, February 20th. Tickets right now are on Ticketmaster you can get in for $207 plus fees. Wait, that's the 1:00 game. That's the semifinal.
You're killing me.
That's the loser's game. Oh, the winner's game, same thing, $200.
Okay. Can we move on to the to literally the reshaping?
Anything
of the
else? Anything else?
Jesus
Okay.
Christ.
Okay. So after all the crap that went down the last 2 weeks, there are a couple of trades and a couple of things that stuck out. And we'll get to the individual trades in a second. Number one, the Cleveland Cavaliers are now the best team in the Eastern Conference. If they weren't in record, they are now the best team.
Wait a minute. You're telling me that trading for DeAndre Hunter makes you the best team?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Now, do you want to know why? Or are you just
sure? Why not? As
poo-pooing?
probably the biggest Karis LeVert fan there is. Sure. What do you got?
What is the one thing Karis LeVert did not do very well?
Defend.
Right. What is the one thing that team needed more than anything else? A
wing defender.
Wing defender. They did not have one. Isaac Okoro is not a wing defender. So,
ironically, that was what he was brought into. That was what he was drafted to be.
Yes, but has not proven, and he also can't hit a jump shot worth a spin. So you brought in DeAndre Hunter, who is supposed to be a defender, right? Who I understand most people are like, why does a 6'8" guy that's 240 pounds only average 3.5 rebounds per game? That's a valid statement. Until you realize he's going to the Cleveland Cavaliers, who have Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. So the last thing that they need is another guy that rebounds. They need a guy that runs around. They need a guy that plays defense. They do not have one. Now they do. They are the best starting five in the Eastern Conference. It's not even close. They had one thing that they needed, and they found
Wait a minute.
Nope.
It's not.
Don't put the Celtics
close.
in there. No, don't put the Celtics in there. Don't.
Who's the best player between the Celtics and the Cavs?
Jason Tatum.
Who's the second best player?
Evan Mobley.
For a guy who had the biggest man crush on Jaylen Brown.
And I still do. But he's not. Mobley is a better player this year. Evan Mobley.
Yeah, Jaylen Brown hasn't been great this year.
Correct. Number 3 is Donovan Mitchell.
Then 4 is Jaylen Brown.
Number 4, maybe Darius Garland. Darius Garland made the All-Star team this year too, along with Jaylen Brown.
I'm aware.
So, okay.
Also, to be fair, Kristoff isn't playing yet, correct?
No, he's playing.
So you're telling the starting lineup of Drew Holiday, Derek White, Tatum, Brown, and Porzingis.
Yep.
Versus Garland, Mitchell, DeAndre Hunter,
Allen, and Mobley.
That's a fun matchup.
Right. I mean, it's a fun matchup, but when you look at the ideal stats this year, and I think it's important to do that, right? And the most important part is the shooting splits, right? So Tatum's averaging 45% from the field, Brown 46, Porzingis 46, White 44, and Drew Holiday 43. Okay, those are tremendous, right? Absolutely tremendous. It is a matter of the defense that the Cavs play will turn this around. Look, there are very few people that can stay with Kristaps Porzingis on the outside. Right? I mean,
they have two players who can.
They have at least one, maybe two. Mobley can do whatever, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Drew Holiday, I'm leaving Drew Holiday open every single time. He's the guy. If you're going to beat me, that's the guy that's going to beat me. Okay.
Correct.
Right. All right. So now you have DeAndre Hunter, who's going to face up against Jason Tatum. Both 6'8", works perfectly, right?
Mm-hmm.
You lose on Jaylen Brown defensively. You do, because Garland's going to face Brown. Okay. Derek White and Donovan Mitchell, probably pretty okay, right? Then you have just Jared Allen sitting there in the back, just waiting for people to come. And he's going to guard Holiday because you want Holiday to shoot. You want
Jared Allen is going to guard Holiday?
You're going to back off Drew Holiday and let him shoot.
I get it, but you're not going to back off that far.
Yes, you will. Watch.
Okay.
Watch. Or they'll play a zone.
Is Mike Rubin going to come on to talk about this?
You mean Mark Rubin? Mark wanted to be on. Mark wanted to be on last week's cast, and I told him no. He wanted to be on today, and I told him no. I said next week when we get this all done. But I did tell him flat out, the Cavs now have the best starting five in the NBA. And his response was, and I'm gonna get it right here. His response was, "Who's the second?" He didn't argue with me.
Okay.
Look, Karis LeVert is a good player. Karis LeVert is ill fitted for that team. He was exactly what they didn't need, which was another scorer. They had plenty. They needed a defender.
They gave up, though, 3 seconds, 2 swaps in LeVert.
Yep. And still are under the tax.
Yep, by $1.5 million.
And you know what? They can still get a buyout candidate. Because if you're under the tax, you can get a buyout candidate. So maybe they supplement, and they are not in the repeater tax for next year. This is a masterclass by Kobe Altman. Because he turned two guys that were, first of all, let's talk that the three. I wonder what the 2 swaps are. Are they first-round swaps? Are they second-round swaps?
I think they're second. But
right. So we're talking with monopoly money. Second round,
I get it.
Right. Second rounders are monopoly money. Okay. He gave up LeVert. He gave up George Niang, who's a good player, good 8th, 9th man. Yes. He got a starting player. How many of these trades that we saw today got you a legitimate starting player on a playoff team? 5?
Something
in total?
like that.
Okay. All right. So last night we're this started last night. All right. So let's start with where we are. So the first step that took place was, and I'm trying to go down the rip. So the first one was Jonas Valanciunas going to Sacramento. I don't quite understand that trade. Because you have Sabonis, and what are you going to do with Valanciunas? And you're not going to play them next to each other except to talk in Lithuania? But I don't get it.
I would have thought if Sacramento was going to make a trade, they would have gone for a point guard.
Correct. So I think the only reason they made this trade is to put a big middle finger up to the LA Lakers.
Could be.
To keep them away from the Lakers. Because they didn't give
up.
And
to be fair, he has a very workable deal.
Oh, they didn't give up very much at all.
Yeah.
Except they have to keep $10 million on their cap for next year or trade him in the offseason, which I think they will do, and recoup some of that value. Okay.
Correct.
All right. So next trade. So that was at $455. At 8:14, we have Jimmy going where Jimmy does not belong. But Jimmy decided to belong there. So first, I was wrong because I said Jimmy wasn't going anywhere. Second, I was right in that Cam Johnson went nowhere. So, all right, so Jimmy goes to the Golden State Warriors, a place he wanted no part of until they gave him a bag full of money, Eric Dickerson style. They gave him $121 million.
Wow.
For 2 years. Wow to the reference or wow to 121 million or both?
Both.
Okay. Look, everybody's got their little, what is it, the SMU Pony Express. So that's what Jimmy's got. So he got a bag full of money to go to Golden State, where he is now on the exact same timeline as Draymond Green and Stephen Curry. They
Correct.
all expire in 2 years, after this year, 2 years. And that's when Golden State drops off a cliff because they don't have anybody left. They gave up a first round. They'll have Brzezinski and maybe Kuminga, and that's it. Because they have.
I don't even know if they're going to have Kuminga because I don't know if they. I know you can go over the cap to.
They can re-sign Kuminga to whatever they want.
Right, but Kuminga wants $30 million a year.
If you have absolutely no other way to supplement your team, and they will have no other way to supplement their team, this is the Royce O'Neal deal from last year. I'm the only guy that you can get. You can't trade me for something back. You can't let me go and acquire something. I'm it. I'm costing you $30 million. Sign me or don't sign me. Easy. And if they don't, this team is small, incredibly, without commitment. Old.
Incredibly.
With no assets.
Nope.
Because they gave away a first-round pick, a protected one, this year's first-round pick in that deal. All right, so what else did they give up? They gave up Andrew Wiggins, Dennis Schroeder, and Kyle Anderson. So Kyle Anderson, we don't know where he's winding up, but right now he's in Miami. Andrew Wiggins goes to Miami and is on the hook for 2 more years. Dennis Schroeder went to Utah and then
got cut or traded.
And then he went to the Pistons. And I thought Dennis Schroeder was a perfect Mavericks pickup if they were going to pick up anybody. I was like, and surprisingly, the Mavericks have picked up nobody. All right, so that happened at 8:31. Jimmy got traded. Miami has $30 million on the books when they don't want $30 million in that year, which means that they probably want to flip Wiggins at the end of this year as an expiring. I don't know how viable that is. They have Kyle Anderson. Go ahead.
I don't know. I mean, it's a workable contract. He's kind of back at a better place mentally, and he's playing relatively well. We've seen him be. It's not an outrageous deal. It's 1 year at 25, 26?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That can be flipped.
No, you got 2 years. This year and next year. Sorry, next year.
Right. Well, it's not going to be flipped this year. But I could see that being flipped over the summer.
So you'll have 2 years with that. Okay. So $121 million to Jimmy. This can't end well. We say this every time, but this can't end well.
No.
I mean, it can if they win a championship this year.
They're not winning a championship with this team.
How much closer are they? Are they any closer?
Not really. I mean, is Butler a better player than Andrew Wiggins? Yes. Is he a better player on this team? Maybe. I mean, they probably a bit. But does this really get you to the next tier where you become like in the second tier playoff team? I don't think so.
Are you better than the Lakers?
Probably not after the Mark Williams deal.
Well, that's assuming Mark Williams is playing.
I'm assuming Mark Williams is playing.
Are you better than the Kings? You're not better than the Rockets, right?
No, but I trust all the teams that have. I never trust a team with no playoff experience. Okay, other than Van Vliet, you've got nothing.
That's true. So right now, if you look at the NBA standings,
besides the Rockets just lost twice to the Nets. They're starting kind of their downhill slide.
So right now, the Warriors are in 11th. They're not even in the play-in. They're tied for 11th. But are they better than the Suns?
Yeah, because I think the Suns are currently now a dumpster fire.
Okay. Are they better than the Mavericks?
No.
Are they better than the T-Wolves?
No, probably not.
So they're not. Are they better than the Clippers?
I'll be honest. I don't know how the Clippers are this good.
It's Dwight Powell.
Exactly. So, as I said, I don't know how they are this good.
All right. So moving on. At 9:07 last night, a favorite of the show, Lonzo Ball, signs a 2-year, $20 million, 10-year, $10 million a year extension with the Bulls. Good for him.
Yes,
no. Good for him. I don't think it moves the needle anywhere other than
do anything either way, but good for him coming all the way back.
Right. And getting this type of deal, right? And finding a place where he feels peace, you would think, right? In that he had a 4-year, $80 million contract, which is ending this year. So he signs another 2-year contract, which gives him a guaranteed 20 and lets him be where he is, right? As opposed to moving around. I think this is a great deal for both him and the Bulls. But again, it shows that the Bulls are not rebuilding. They are just like, bleh. Let's just be bleh.
I mean, we could see that by them not trading Vucevic.
Exactly. Okay, the Knicks trade Jericho Sims. Okay. And they get DeLon Wright. And they get DeLon Wright. All right, another backup point guard to go with Cameron Payne. Yay.
And Tyler Kodak.
Yeah. I don't think they trust Tyler Kodak. That's why they got DeLon Wright.
I think my understanding was they wanted to give Sims a place to play. And he was getting incredibly
after this year, too. So, I mean, that makes sense. Okay, so moving on to other deals that happened last night. And then we have the big one, which has, the big one for yesterday, and I would think that this is actually bigger than Jimmy Butler, is that Brandon Ingram goes to Toronto for Bruce Brown, Kelly Olynyk, a first-round pick, and a second-round pick. So, all right, let's break this down. Bruce Brown is a free agent after this year, so that doesn't matter. Kelly Olynyk has 2 more years on this contract, which they extended last year. You know the one thing that always boggles my mind about the NBA?
One thing?
Well, this more than anything. I made the decision last year to do this. And at the trade deadline next year, I'm going to undo what I did. So I'm going to re-sign Kelly Olynyk to an extension for 3 years. And 6 months later, I'm going to trade him off that extension when I never needed to give him the extension to begin with. And because of that, I have to give up a first-round pick and a second-round pick to get off of it. Meanwhile, they got Brandon Ingram, and they can re-sign Ingram and still stay under the tax. So
right. The problem, the question, though, is why is Ingram, unless they're the only team that's going to make the offer, Toronto's not going anywhere.
At least for today. Yeah.
So you have a building block in Scotty Barnes. You're going to spend $45 million a year to re-sign Ingram? Ingram's a nice player, but we talk about players we don't want at the price point where they think they belong. That to me is Ingram. Apparently.
No, sorry, I needed to check something. My apologies. No, I get what you're saying. Is he's an athletic guy, and what are they going to pay for it, right? Who are they bidding against at the end of the day? Now, the question is, will they be able to re-up him for maybe 3 years and 70 and maybe not give him a max? Or otherwise, they get off the Kelly Olynyk deal. I mean, that's all that it's about, is getting off that
deal. 3 years. He wants $50 million a year. You're offering 3 for 70?
I don't think he's getting $30 million a year. That's the thing.
You don't think Brandon Ingram's getting $30 million a year?
Oh no, I think he's getting only 30. That's what I'm saying. He's not getting any more than that.
Okay.
I know he wants 50, but I don't think he's getting 50 from anybody. And that's
I don't think so either.
Right? I mean, they really just wanted to get off that contract. That's why I think they made the trade. All right. So let's keep going. Moving forward. Last night, midnight, the Lakers use up all their equity to get Mark Williams. Now, we said they needed a rim-running center, right?
They got one.
On Sunday, we said they're not playing for today. They're playing for tomorrow, right, by the Luka trade. I would like to take a mea culpa on that because this doesn't say they're playing for tomorrow. This says I'm playing for today.
Yes.
Mark Williams is an incredibly athletic rim-running center when he plays. He has not played.
Of course, the keywords are when he plays.
He is the equivalent of Mitchell Robinson for any other team. So in 3 years, he has played 43 games in his rookie year, 19 games last year, and 23 games this year. That's not consistency. Now, he has improved from 9 points to 12 points to 15 points for the last 3 years. He has improved his rebounding from 7 to 9 to 9. He has improved his defensive rebounding from 4 to 5 to 6. He has improved his free throw percentage. He has improved. He's gotten better. Now, if only he could stay on the court, that would be helpful. And it's not so much, Seth, that you got this guy. It's what you gave up to get this guy. So you gave up Dalton Connect, your youngest, most talented young player. Outside, I guess Austin Reeves would be your
outside of Austin Reeves.
Cam Reddish, who I couldn't care less about. And the 2031 unprotected pick, along with the swap in 2030. That's all you got.
So we spent 20 minutes talking about the 2031 pick.
I know you don't believe that this is a big deal. I get it.
I don't.
Okay, you do understand that right now the Lakers have, let's presume the 2031 pick doesn't exist. Let's presume it's even in the 29th pick in the draft. Okay? Your point, right? You don't know what it's going to be. If you're the Lakers, because of the Stepien rule, you don't have another pick to trade. That's it. So take away the fact that you gave up the pick. You also gave up the ability to make a trade with a pick. Does that make it?
Yeah, no, I understand. But you knew this is where this was going to go.
Oh, I didn't think it was going to go this way.
You knew they were going to make another trade. Now, again, that wasn't the way we were thinking they were going, but you knew they were going to make an offer. They were going to make a trade somewhere.
Yeah,
you knew they were going to throw that in, unless it was Austin Reeves. If they were going to get a player of consequence, that was what it needed to be. Now, I know Williams is a Duke guy. Redick's a Duke guy. I assume there's some connection there. But, excuse me, you wanted a big athletic center. Now, is he an imposing athletic center? Not particularly. I don't think he's a big defensive guy. But it gets you your rebounds. It gets you some points. It's a presence down low. It's not exactly Anthony Davis, but it's a presence.
Yeah, I get it. And if he's healthy, first of all, he's a great offensive player. He's not a great defensive player. Okay,
no,
so that's
not at all.
Right. So are you trading? Again, you're going all in on offense, right? And the thing that, truth be told, Anthony Davis brought more to the table was as an all-NBA defender, not as an offensive player. It's the reason you didn't get Jonas Valanciunas in the offseason because he didn't play defense.
Correct.
Right? There's a reason you didn't acquire Clint Capella because he doesn't play defense.
I'm not quite sure what Clint Capella does at this point.
He's a rim running center. That's what he does.
But he can't really shoot. I mean, he just
welcome to Mark Williams.
Yeah.
Welcome to Daniel Gafford. He's not, but this is what the Mavericks have in Lively and hope they have a better than, because Lively's 21 years old, right?
Correct.
But there's been no indication that Mark Williams is anything more than what Mark Williams is right here. First of all, he doesn't stay on the court. That's the most
correct.
And even if, Seth, you're saying whatever to the unprotected pick, whatever to the swap, you still gave up your best young player in Dalton Connect on a $4 million contract.
Agreed. Look, I don't love the deal.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get this.
I told you. I liked the deal. I thought they were going to trade Reeves. That to me makes more sense.
Yep. I don't get this at all.
Would you rather have Bobby Portis or would you rather have Mark Williams?
What am I giving up?
You're giving up Reeves on one end. You're giving up the other two on the other end. Reeves Portis was your baby.
No, Reeves Portis was a doable trade.
Right, agreed. That was a trade you thought was fair on both sides,
and I still do. But that was, yes, I believe that is a trade that is fair on both sides. But I don't think it solves your defensive problem. I don't think this solves your defensive problem.
Nothing solves your defensive problems. You were never a good defensive team, and you got rid of your best defender.
Yep.
Nothing is going to solve your defensive, but it's also why they're not a legitimate threat to make the finals this year.
Well, but the problem is, they have nowhere.
Yeah, where do they go from here? I get it.
The only place that they have to go, and we mentioned this on Sunday for those that tuned in, is they're looking 2 years from now. Mark Williams is still on a rookie contract at that point. They will have about $80 million in cap room if they don't sign. If they wait for LeBron to sign, right? If he goes as a free agent, that's it. But this is a win now piece, and I don't see where they're winning with this at all. I don't see where I think they just gave up everything in the cupboard for something that may, or I don't know. I don't get it. All right. Keep going. So we talked about the Hawks and Cleveland trade, which I still think is the best deal of the day. Solidifies the Cavs, keeps them under the luxury tax, and I'll keep talking about luxury tax, not for today. The Cavs' salaries, remember, they have 4 guys, right? They have Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, Donovan Mitchell, and Darius Garland, right? They have 4 guys. In 2 years, even maybe next year, I haven't done the math, they will be in the luxury tax.
Correct.
It's fait accompli. It will happen, right? The luxury tax is based on, it's twofold, how much you spend and how many years you're in it. If you are in it for more than 1 year, you pay a repeater tax, which is what teams try to get out of, which is what the Clippers why they didn't sign Paul George, because they dropped out of the tax and now can redo it. It's what in baseball the Yankees have been trying to do for years and have not been successful ever getting out of the tax. And here we are with Kobe Altman saying, I'm dropping out of the tax because I know in the next 2 to 3 years, this is something I'm going to play in. The Cavs have never played in the tax. Actually thought that they were going to be in it with this trade. I am shocked that they were.
It brings it down. By the way, just thinking off of what we talked about, just to take a quick step back with the Lakers.
Sure.
Isn't there an all-defensive player who's about to be bought out of a contract? Who doesn't shoot, doesn't need the ball, passes well, and can play defense?
I'm sorry, I'm missing who that is.
Ben Simmons?
So you want to put him on the Lakers?
He doesn't need to shoot.
To play where?
Doesn't matter. He can play any position on the defensive end. You're saying they have no defense.
I agree. But they have no rim protection more than they have no defense.
They have neither.
Ben Simmons is not rim protection.
No, they have neither.
Right, that is true.
But this at least gives you wanted some kind of defensive presence.
Right, but the problem, okay, so let's play this out, right? Who's sitting now?
Reeves.
There's no way you're doing that. So Reeves is going to play, what, 10 minutes a game?
No, this isn't Tom Thibodeau coaching. Literally, let's take a quick walkthrough on the starting team. Williams at the 5.
Yep.
Luka, LeBron 2-3, whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
Hachimura at the 4.
Yep.
I guess.
Yep.
And who's at the 1 at this point?
At the 1, anybody and everybody. I mean, LeBron's playing the 1.
Put Reeves at the 1?
Well, right now, that's the point. Reeves has been playing the 1. He's just too slow.
Okay, so you move him to the 2. You have no 1, and you have this trio combo, whatever it is.
I'm just saying you're guarding, even if you put Ben Simmons there. Now you have 2 guys that don't. Actually, you have 3 guys that don't shoot because LeBron's not a shooter, right?
No, wait. LeBron shoots.
Okay, I'm talking about.
He is not a shooter like Stephen Curry is a shooter.
Sure,
but the man does have the most points in the history of the NBA. He does shoot.
Okay. All right.
And believe me, no one's a non-shooter like Ben Simmons is a non-shooter.
Sure.
That's a whole other different discussion point. And I'm just kind of spitballing here. It's not like I know anything more than anyone else does.
Yeah, I think when you get to that,
would you rather see him on the Kings, Simmons?
No, I see no place for him on the Kings either.
So you don't consider Simmons a point guard? I mean, he can pass, he can dribble, he can rebound, he can play defense. He can't shoot.
Yeah.
And in a team with DeRozan, Levine, and Sabonis,
you know the best place where you could go? Golden State.
Okay. Well, that's...
Yeah, I'm just throwing stuff out there. Right?
I can't see him and Jimmy Butler on the same team.
Why not?
I just don't see that as an emotionally good mesh.
Oh, right, because Draymond Green and Jimmy Butler's an emotionally good mesh. All right, so let's say so if you're looking at specific teams for Ben Simmons, the Cavs are there, right? The Cavs would be a good team for him because for the same reason DeAndre Hunter's a good player, right? Doesn't have to shoot, just has to do weird things. Believe it or not, the Knicks would be a tremendous team for him because he'd be a backup at every position. And they have
correct, which means he would play 7 minutes a game.
Fine. I'm good with him playing 7 minutes a game. Okay with that. Until OG gets hurt again. He'd be great on the Bucks.
Yes, he would.
He'd be great on the Bucks. He'd be horrible on the Pistons. He'd be great on the 76ers. We all know he's not going to Philly. All right. The Thunder won't take him. The Grizzlies don't have room. The Rockets aren't taking him. He'd be really good on the Nuggets. Yeah. He'd be good on the Timberwolves.
Yeah, I guess.
He'd be good on the Clippers for every reason that every castaway goes to the Clippers. So he'd be good there. And he'd be good on the Spurs, but he's not going to the Spurs.
He's not going to the Spurs.
Right. So there are a couple of teams.
I mean, then I guess the obvious, Marcus Smart I know you're doing your timeline.
No, you're good.
Marcus Smart
gets traded to the Wizards.
Buyout is an obvious buyout.
Yeah.
So talk about tough, smart defensive point guard.
No pun intended. Tough, smart point guards. Tough, smart point guards. Where are tough, smart point guards going these days? I mean, you said it yourself. You said it yourself. The Kings of the Lakers. Right?
Makes sense to me.
Now, if you are in the second apron, you are not allowed to go get him because he is above the minimum salary. So the question is, the second apron teams I believe, are limited right now. I think the Celtics are
Celtics, Nuggets, Lakers,
Phoenix,
Bucks,
Minnesota. Phoenix, Minnesota. There's only 3. Yeah, there's only 3. The Knicks are 540,000 away from the second apron. I love it. So they can actually sign a guy. So Boston, Minnesota, and Phoenix are the only 3 that are in the apron. By the way, if you're Minnesota and you're $25 million, sorry, if you're Phoenix and you're $25 million into the second apron, wow. Wow. Okay. Just wow. All right. So which teams made themselves better? Which teams do you think any of these teams, truth be told, any of these teams made themselves remarkably better going forward? Remarkable.
San Antonio.
Not like with De'Aaron Fox.
San Antonio
I think the Cavs made I've said this before. I said this earlier. I think the Cavs are the best team in the East right now. I think they put themselves in a position to make it to the conference finals. I know they're the number 1 team. I get that.
That can't be the goal with this team.
Well, I was going to say the conference finals or the NBA finals. You didn't let me finish that.
Okay.
You're right. And maybe this is – remember, you have to lose once in order to win the second time, right? I mean, that's the way we always think about this. So maybe this is the year they lose once and they come back next year because that core of 5 is not going anywhere. That's where you are. That's not just this year's core. That's the next 3 years' core. That's with Donovan Mitchell re-signing last year, that's your core right there for 3 years. You're starting 5 for 3 years. DeAndre Hunter has 3 more years. You have a window of 3 years.
Yes.
You know who didn't make themselves better? Philadelphia.
No.
They are looking for one thing and one thing only, the big guy's health. Right now, they are saddled in 11th place, 1 game out of the play-in. And hello, Cleveland Cavaliers. Let's play Joel Embiid in the first round, right?
And Paul George.
And Tyrese Maxey. That sounds like a great idea. Sounds like a great idea, right? Yeah. If you're the Atlanta Hawks, wait, which Bogdanovich got traded? One of them did.
One of them did. I don't know which one.
Was it the Nets one? By the way, hold on. One of them did. Nope. It was the Hawks. Bogdanovich got traded. So the Clippers did very well. Clippers getting Borgen Bogdanovich and 3 second-round picks for Terrence Mann and Bones Highland. That's a win. I mean, Terrence Mann's a good player, but he had no place to play when Dwight Howell's playing the way Dwight Howell's playing. He's averaging 6 points a game this year. Terrence Mann. All right.
By the way, Phoenix trading Nurkic and a first round just to get rid of Nurkic to Charlotte.
Yeah, just to drop $10 million, which really is dropping like $30 million. You understand that, right? I mean, and Nurkic
I understand that, Sean.
And Nurkic wasn't really playing. And if you want to go back a couple of weeks, you could put Nick Richards in those plus category players. Because Nick Richards has played very well for the Suns, and Nurkic has not played at all. You got Reggie Jackson and a future first-round pick. Talk about getting off a salary to the Wizards for Jared Butler and 4 second-round picks.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm telling you, second round. The Knicks have like 12. Like second-round picks are like monopoly money. They're just fungible items. So, all right. Do your predictions today change at all? Did anything make you change your prediction?
I don't even remember what my prediction was.
All right. So I'm going to say that I think the Cavs make the finals now.
Okay.
I definitely did not have them before. I think I actually said the Knicks would make the finals. But I will have the Cavs making the finals against Oklahoma City, which would be a really, really fun finals to watch.
That would be ESPN's biggest nightmare.
Nobody would watch that series except Brian Windhorst and anybody that's in Oklahoma. But it'll be that would be a fun series. I think I'm amending. Okay, we got 5 minutes left. I'll go first. Welcome back, Pete Alonso. 2 years, $54 million. And the best part about the Mets, number one, they held firm. They didn't do, hey, we're just going to give this guy a whole boatload of money when he doesn't deserve it. Number two, the option's on Pete. The option's not on the Mets. So the way I see this is twofold. Pete Alonso has a great year. The Mets have a great year with him. He opts out, and the Mets go sign Vladdy Guerrero. Okay? Pete Alonso doesn't have a great year. He opts in at $24 million. The Mets say, thanks so much, Pete. You're going to play DH. And the Mets go get Vladdy Guerrero. So, I mean, that's the way I see it. $24 million is not a huge deal to carry on your books for year two. If all you do, there's no bad one-year deal. So I'm good with this. This option works for me as a Mets fan. And for the first time, I think in a long time, my teams, I would say three of my four teams, I would put the Jets in a different category, have good management. Who knew?
Who knew?
Who knew? Okay.
Okay. 8 years ago today, the most famous letter in the history of Seth and Sean Sports was written.
I remember that.
Titled, I Give Up.
Give up.
I'm going to read this. And we have 3 minutes. For years, I have been in denial, and now I accept the fact that there is no argument to be made. Absolutely none. Sunday at 8:30 p.m., before one of the best comebacks I've ever seen, I had an argument. I was looking for a comp in Tom Brady, and I had one in LeBron James. James had played in 6 NBA Finals, won 3, lost 3. When the argument is made, but that he may be the greatest of all time, the discussion is shot down like a sledgehammer. Okay, not really anymore, but sure.
At the time.
He hasn't won as many as Jordan. He's nowhere near Russell, yada, yada, yada. Until Sunday night. If he lost Sunday night, Brady would have played in 7 Super Bowls and won 4. He would have been 4-3 in the big game. This would leave him with Montana, 4-0, and Bradshaw. As we saw, Brady didn't lose the game. He played marvelously, pulled out a come from behind. Now Brady is 5-3 with more Super Bowl wins than any other quarterback in history. Am I envious? Yes, there is no question of that. After all, I am a Jet fan. Since 1982, the first time I can remember watching the Super Bowl, teams from the AFC East have gone to the big game a total of 15 times. That's not including the Colts, who've gone twice and used to be in the AFC East. Every team has gone once except my beloved Jets. Hall of Fame quarterbacks from each of the other teams have gone on to the Super Bowl. However, only one of those teams has won 5 times. Only one of those quarterbacks has 5 rings. And that man, well, he is the GOAT. You have me on the record. There's no other argument I can make, so I am done. I say this reluctantly but emphatically. Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time. Signed, Sean K. Palmer.
Now, to be fair, that may change in the next 3 years.
True.
That was as of that date. And that was an argument that I had with Mr. Kamens for a long period of time. We still have that same argument over Jordan versus James.
We do.
And I don't believe that one will be settled in the manner in which the Brady one was. I don't think it can be. That's different. I don't think it can be. But I do subscribe to the theory that as of today, Tom Brady is a very good broadcaster. You will hear him on Sunday. Every time I hear him, I want to vomit, but he is a very good broadcaster. He's done very well in his first year. But he is the greatest quarterback of all time as of right now. And for that reason, I may be rooting for Pat Mahomes just because I don't want
Fair enough.
So for Seth Kamens, who's over there, I'm Sean Palmer over here. Enjoy the Super Bowl, everybody. We'll be back next week on Wednesday. So have a good week, everybody. See ya.
Have a good one.